Welcome. It's Sunday, it's evening, it's cold, so I thought I'd take this chance to show everybody what we've been up to in Lego City, in the Prefecture. Also out here in Yellow Cabin Studios, you can see we have some of the stuff on the shelf here, some of the Technic sets. We have our trusty photo frame there, which is slowly dying, however it's okay at the moment. We've got some new images circulating on there. However, let's get into Lego Prefecture and some of the things that have been happening over here. Not sure whether I've done a full overview of everything this year. I think we may have done one earlier on in the year. However, there's been some changes, things have moved around, things have been built, and lots of changes have been happening. We'll start over here on the, we'll call it the west side of Lego Prefecture. Again, those of you that followed along on Instagram will have seen some of these builds and things being updated and changed. This particular build here took rather a long time. It's quite tedious to build. However, we're not going to dwell too long on that, but we'll have a quick look at the signboard that's on top here. Very pleased with how that turned out. And you can see Emmett's trying to switch that on or change it. That's made out of an old Nokia telephone. That was my Nokia 1520, I believe. One of the best phones I ever had. The screen is still pretty good on that. It's just a shame that Windows stopped supporting it. The construction site is in the far corner there on the west side of the Lego Prefecture. Down here we have some more of our mocks. We have the Palace Cinema there. Right in the back corner there we have Ninjago Towers. That Ninjago set is really awkward to actually fit into anything, so we made it into something else. We converted it into a bit of a tower block. Some more work to be done on that. Let's just come down to the front here to see what else has been happening. For those of you who did follow along on Instagram, you'll notice we spent a lot of time on the station down here. I haven't got the trains running at the moment because they are very noisy. But again, we found a use for all of those brick separators. It's unbelievable how many you do actually accumulate over the years. So there we have 2 platforms worth of brick separators. We use those for the roof to keep it up. And again, another signboard at the back there. That is my old Sony phone this time. It's one of the perks of renewing a phone contract every few years or every few months in our case. You get to keep the old phones and then you get to find some uses for them. Yeah, but the station, spent a lot of time building this roof. It's just come up here. And you can see all of those brick separators across there. I'm not entirely sure how many we actually put into this, but it was a lot. And we actually used all the brick separators that we had in this build. And one of the downsides of that is you don't actually realise how useful brick separators actually are until you don't have any. So whenever you're working with tiles like we did on the roof here, we had very sore fingers trying to prise off bricks that we no longer needed or had to be moved and put somewhere else. Luckily, we had a couple more sets that turned up, and they did include some brick separators, so we were good. Sometimes I just like to stand here and watch the adverts play. Just gives a little bit of movement to the city, a bit of interest. It also helps to light things as well. At the moment we don't have any lights in the city itself. It's one of the things I want to change, is actually adding lights into everything. Let's move this up here. So that's the west side. Let's go across to the north side of the city. Right at the back there's a lot of stuff happening over there. We have Ninjago City. Brilliant build. Love the detail on that. There's so much actually happening in there. So many things happening. Still need to put the stickers onto that one actually. Next to that we have the Xingbao toy and bookshop. That is an amazing build. If you ever get a chance to get your hands on that, go for it. There's a lot of pieces in there. I think there's about 5,000 pieces, around that number, and it's a really good build. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but there's also a lot of things that are actually right with it. So it's really interesting to have a go at that. Let's just come back down here. In front of Ninjago City we have the detective's office. Somebody decided to turn the roof of that into a bit of a garden and also connect that up to not the Parisian Cafe, Cafe Corner. That was it. Cafe Corner here. I made a few changes on this just to make it a bit more interesting. We do tend to accumulate lots of little sets, and one of those was the lighthouse, I believe, and that came with a killer whale. So we use that on the building just to add a bit of interest. Kind of taking a bit of inspiration there from like the Blade Runner type feel for things, just to put a bit of fun into it. And it also ties quite nicely with the Ninjago feel as well, just to add more interest into that. We have our controller there for the train. I'm not quite sure why that's up there. We come down to another interesting build here. That is the Starbucks cafe set. Now we're on the west side of Lego Prefecture. I'm sure I called that the east side over there. If I didn't, that's the east side. This is the west side. Ninjago City sits on the north side. And down here we have the diner. Interesting set. I'm not entirely convinced by that one, but I do like it. It does have a nice, interesting feel to it. Okay, so that's a quick overview of everything. Let me just give you an update as where we are with projects that we're working on at the moment. The first one is down here. I do want a road that runs all the way across the front here. You can see we've got some of the old 80s base plates there for the roads. They're coming out. They take up too much room. And instead we're going to make something like this, which is nice and interesting. Again, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see where the inspiration for this road actually came from. Bit of a crossing there. But that eventually is going to go all the way up to the back there. There'll be another row of buildings on the left-hand side here, which comes all the way down here. Not entirely sure what those are. It'd be interesting to see what LEGO release in terms of modular buildings. The road will also continue down here on the front, and we'll find somewhere stopping it before it hits the station there. And then the other thing we're actually working on is here behind the station. We have another Xingbao Chinese building here. These are interesting builds. Lots of tiles and bits on the roof there. They're a little bit flimsy. The design work is nowhere near on par with what LEGO would do. However, it's an interesting build. There's some cool things on there. Quite like it. We are actually in the process of building a retaining wall, I suppose you would call it, across the back here. That's going to go all the way across the back just to cover the feet that hold up the second tier of the Lego Prefecture. As you can see, everything's raised up here. I think we have 3 levels altogether. We have the base layer, which has the railway on it, which runs all the way around. The first tier, which contains a lot of the main buildings at the moment, and then the secondary tier there, which is on the north side, which at the moment contains Ninjago Towers, the bookstore, and also Ninjago City. But eventually, to cover any gaps, I actually want to use this sort of wall system here to hide all of this. And down in the front of the wall, we're going to have, I think we'll have the Chinese gardens. That's some nice, interesting foliage, plants, trees, that sort of thing. We'll also have a pergola down there and a few other bits. But let me just grab the wall here so you can see what we're working on. So this here is just base plates pinned together using tile pieces. We've got all the brown tiles in here. We've got the dark and the light brown just to mix it up a bit. We also have those new pieces, which are the printed pieces, which have the wood grain and nails in there as well. Not easy to find, however, they do look good. Now the reason we did it this way on a flat base plate, instead of actually building a physical wall, is because this takes a lot less pieces. Before we'd have to use, if we did it the traditional way of building a wall, we'd have to use the 1x4 or 1x2 or 1x1 studs with a little stud sticking out the front. I'm not entirely sure what they're called. I'm sure the word snot brick comes to mind. I'm not sure whether that's the right term or not, but you guys know the ones I'm talking about. The ones that traditionally used for headlights on cars. Doing it that way would cost quite a lot to actually build the wall up, and it would use a lot of pieces. Doing it this way though, we have a few 2x1 plates. We have a couple of 1x1 plates or rounds in there to hold it up and just to space it out a bit, and it gives a really nice effect there, and that's going to go across the back. I still haven't found a way to pin that up yet to hold it in place. At the moment it's just leaning against that tier, but that will go around there, underneath there, just to give everything a backdrop. We're also intending to build some sort of wall here behind that last track there, just to separate it off, and I'll probably do that with some sort of fence. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be yet, but that's generally just the third rail there, the siding to keep trains on that we're not using at the moment. So you can see if we come down here, we do actually have 2 tracks, 2 working rails. We need to build a second train to have on the second track. For some reason there's a tuk-tuk police car down here. I'm not sure why he's under there. But yeah, you can see the view there down into the station. And you can see those brick separators being used on the roof there. I love the effect that they have, and it looks really good here. Just to give everything a bit of depth. But when we get lights on that, that will look absolutely amazing. Let's just come on here. Under here you can see the structure of everything. We'll do a video on that another time. But anyway, that's our little, where are we? October now, aren't we? That's our little October update for Lego Prefecture. We'll come back again and give you another update and let you know how things progress.